Well, good afternoon. I'm Dan Biles, Pasco County Administrator, and I just want to express my thanks to all the first responders who worked around the clock over the weekend to fight the wildfires in the J.B. Starkey Wilderness Park and the Starkey Wilderness Preserve. It was an impressive firefighting effort to see. There are so many agencies to thank, but I want to especially thank the Florida Forest Service, Pasco Fire Rescue, the Pasco Sheriff's Office, the Florida National Guard, the Florida Highway Patrol, the Salvation Army, the National Weather Service, the Department of Health of Pasco County, the Pasco School District, Florida Division of Emergency Management, Southwest Florida Water Management District, and numerous other departments throughout Pasco County. I also want to thank the citizens who donated the water and the other items for our firefighters. It was nice to see our neighbors who wanted to help and do what they can to bring those things out to us. This was a unified effort of all of us working together to make this happen. It's a community effort. We work together, and we will get through this together. And now I'll turn it over to Kevin Guthrie, the Director of Emergency Services.
All right, thank you, County Administrator. Very quickly, from a county emergency services perspective, just a couple of things to keep people aware of. Residents and commuters in the areas surrounding Starkey Park are going to be encountering periods of heavy smoke on the roadways as we had today. That's going to last for the next 30 to 45 days. When you do this, please make sure you use safety and precautions. I know that the Sheriff's Office is going to do a brief out on that, so I'll leave that to them. All camping in Starkey Park is canceled through Thursday. We will look at reopening the park Friday morning, but again, that'll be a joint decision made in conjunction with the Florida Forest Service. All hiking trails, bike trails, to include the Suncoast Bike Trail that parallels State Road 589 or the Suncoast Parkway, will be closed. A burn ban remains in effect for Pasco County, and Chief Whitehead will talk about that. Again, if anyone wants to donate items, we are really good on donated items. As the county administrator mentioned, we thank the community for that. However, if anybody still wants to donate, they can do so, but we are asking them to take those donations straight to the Salvation Army warehouse on Ridge Road at 7745 Ridge Road in Port Richey, and drop those off between the hours of 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. With that, I will turn it over to Superintendent Kurt Browning.
Thank you very much, and I just want to take a moment to thank the principals at River Ridge Middle and High this morning as we responded to a lot of smoke on those campuses this morning, causing us to close those schools as well as Cypress Elementary School. Let me describe real quickly what happened this morning leading up to that decision. School and district staff, maintenance staff, checked River Ridge High School and middle school throughout the weekend, and the smoke was never like it was this morning when administrators arrived. Administrators immediately contacted the direct supervisors, and discussion ensued among district leadership. And at that point, in less than 30 minutes, a decision was made to close the two River Ridge schools, and then later in the morning to close Cypress Elementary School. Automated messages were sent to the families immediately. Parents dropping off students were turned around and advised to return home. Students that come to school on the bus were held inside the school until we could get buses back on the road to transport those students back to home. We killed the fresh air at 6 a.m. this morning at those two schools, and we are currently running the AC constantly clear out the smoke in those schools. It had only run for about 10 minutes this morning, which was enough to pull in enough smoke to cause certainly a smoke smell throughout the entire campus. Maintenance staff will be replacing air filters, but it may still that slight smoky smell as we go through the rest of the week and days ahead. Maintenance staff monitored Cypress Elementary School throughout the morning, and we consulted with the school principal for deciding to close the school. Parents and emergency contacts were notified that the school was closed via automated phone message, and that began at about 8:38 this morning, and the school starts at that school at 9:40. Wind conditions change, and clearly we can't plan ahead like we can a hurricane. I told Mr. Guthrie this morning this has been a lot easier had it been a tropical storm or a hurricane, because you know what's coming and how to plan for it. We've sent guidance to all school principals and asked them to use their best judgment with reference to outdoor activities while the smoke is present. We've been told to expect visibility to be poor in the early mornings for at least the next week. Actually, I said 4 weeks, what we've been told, but we're going to take this, the school district's going to take this a week at a time. In light of this, and because predicting weather and the wind conditions the evening before is a little tough, we are moving the start time for River Ridge Middle and High School to 10:45 a.m. for the remainder of the week. They are typically a 7:30 start. We are moving them to a 10:45 a.m. start. Buses will pick students up 3 hours and 15 minutes later than on a normal day. Dismissal, unfortunately, will be around 5:10 in the afternoon. The reason for us being insistent about having students in school is that our backs are somewhat against the wall when it comes to meeting the required number of minutes and hours statutorily for instruction of our students. And so because we've taken today off, I think we have just a little bit of flexibility, but we wanted to save that flexibility and keep our kids in school the remainder of the week. And for consistency, I made the decision that we would use the late start for the remainder of the week. We will reassess that on Sunday as we go into next week. I certainly realize that changing arrival and dismissal times causes a number of logistical issues for a lot of families, including our staff members. We'll work with the affected individuals in these situations, and we've made arrangements with the PLACE program to accept elementary children, faculty, and staff members who have child care concerns. And I'm asking for parents to please be patient with us as we go through this. I know that social media lit up this morning, critical the way we had handled the closing of River Ridge Middle and High. And until you actually find out where the smoke is, it's tough to make a decision. But we did make that decision within 30 minutes of finding out or being made aware that we had an issue at that school. So we're asking for patience. The National Weather Service will send several members of my staff and me the 3 o'clock a.m. weather condition update so that we have the latest information on which to base school openings and closings on before students board buses in the morning. That's if the weather is, or if the smoke is so intense that we have to close school. Right now, we're going to have a late start, but if we find out based on that 3 o'clock report that the smoke is not going to clear by the 10 o'clock time, what we believe will be around 10 o'clock in the morning, then we will close the schools at that time. We will reassess this schedule at the end of the week, and parents and staff will be notified of plans for next week and beyond on Friday. And if anything changes over next weekend, we'll notify parents as quickly as possible. One final note, and I know a lot of parents and particularly students are concerned about this, but we still have some important testing that will take place this week. I encourage students to come to school the remainder of the week so they can take their advanced placement and their end-of-course exams. River Ridge High School has already reached out to College Board regarding the AP testing because they have some strict protocols for taking the AP assessments, and we're working with them as well as the state Algebra 1 EOCs. So we're trying to accommodate those, and some students, which is Friday's the last day for seniors, there may be opportunities for seniors to have to come in next week to finalize some assessments, depending as to whether or not we can get them done this week. So that being the case, I'll answer questions at the end as soon as all the speakers are done. Thank you very much.
Sean White at Pasco Fire Rescue. Again, we're just here to, we're still monitoring the situation. We're still assisting the Florida Forest Service as needed. And we want to just iterate the fact that there is a burn ban in Pasco County, and to please be mindful of that. Thank you.
Jared Hill, Pasco Sheriff's Office. We're still through normal patrolling, looking for anybody not adhering to the burn ban and any unlimited visibility due to smoke. And we're also being told there's going to be some fog tomorrow. We're sending out patrol units to help with those limited visibilities, and we're asking motorists just to drive very cautiously through any limited visibility areas.
Hi, my name is Greg Crumpton, Florida Department of Health in Pasco County. The Florida Department of Health, what we do is we're strongly recommending that any residents in the area, that they would end up staying indoors and do not have prolonged activity out in the outdoors. We ask that if they have any type of respiratory illnesses, that they can contact their physician. That way they can end up getting instructions for them on the best way and best course of action to take. We also are encouraging for them, the reason to stay out is because anyone that has an upper respiratory condition, this can end up making it worse for them. It will end up causing some itchy eyes, scratchy throats, and several other issues that they could end up having. And I'll answer any questions you have at the end. Thank you.
All right. At this time, we're going to have Paula Baracalo come up and translate most of what we just talked about in Spanish. So if some of y'all want to pause your cameras, that's fine. But Paula.
Buenas tardes, Paula Baracaldo. Este es el informe más reciente acerca del incendio en las zonas aledañas al parque J.B. Starkey. El Servicio Forestal de la Florida nos ha notificado que el 70% del incendio ha sido contenido y más de 2.275 hectáreas han sido afectadas. Le estamos recomendando a los ciudadanos y a los viajeros en áreas cercanas al parque tener precaución en las carreteras debido a la visibilidad limitada y también por causa del humo que estamos experimentando en el área. Le recordamos también al público que enciendan las luces del carro en horas de la mañana y en horas de la noche. Y también se ha colocado señalización provisional de emergencia en las carreteras número 52, 54, en la autopista Suncoast, para dejarles saber las condiciones de tráfico lo más pronto posible para prevenir mayores problemas. Campamentos y reservaciones en el parque han sido suspendidos hasta el jueves 11 de mayo. Y las ciclorrutas y senderos naturales han sido cerrados hasta nueva orden. El parque se planea abrir de nuevo el viernes por la mañana, sin embargo, esta decisión se va a tomar al final del día de hoy. Las quemas de todo tipo han sido prohibidas, esto incluye fogatas, fuegos artificiales, todo tipo de quema de basura. También le queremos recordar a los ciudadanos que las escuelas de River Ridge, el Middle School y el High School, y también la primaria Cypress Elementary, fueron cerradas esta mañana debido a las condiciones y como medida preventiva para evitar problemas hacia los estudiantes. La salida de estas escuelas el resto de la semana va a ser a las 5 de la tarde porque se ha movido la hora de la entrada a clases de las 7:30 de la mañana a las 10:45 de la mañana. También se le pide al público que tengan un poco de paciencia con nosotros. Vamos a tener un reporte final esta tarde a las 3 de la tarde para dejarles saber si las escuelas van a continuar cerradas el resto de la semana o si vamos a mover las horas del comienzo de clases o el cierre de clases por el día. ¿Algunas preguntas? Gracias.
So I guess I will facilitate the questions that anyone may have. I will say just to Mr. Brownings, he is going to be receiving reports both from the National Weather Service as well as emergency management. We're going to work with them to do plume modeling and everything that we could possibly do to support the school board on that. So any questions from anyone?
Just to clarify, with Cypress, because it starts later, not involved in the 10:45 bell schedule?
You know, I'm standing here thinking, I want to make sure I was patently clear on this for what's going on happen from this point forward. The late Tier 4, the 10:45 start time, the 5:10 dismissal is only for River Ridge Middle and High Schools. There are no other school closures at this point. They are the only ones that will be impacted by that late start, late finish. And I'm glad you raised that point because I'm standing here thinking, I hope I was clear in that. All the other schools are fine. What's subject to change is based on the modeling that we get and where the smoke is. Are there schools that we will need to close tomorrow or delay their opening? My guess is if we have smoke tomorrow at other schools, we'll probably close those as opposed to a late start because it's tough to change bus schedules and drivers and notify parents about that at the time that we would need to in order to get kids to school timely.
For parents of those other schools that may or may not be impacted, is there a time that you expect to make a decision so that they can kind of, and how would they get that other than the app and through the school?
We will certainly post it to our social media site, but we'll also send a School Connects call to every home that's impacted once a decision's made about a school closure. So at this point, that's the reason we want to communicate with River Ridge Middle and River Ridge High School parents now. We'll be doing that this evening, letting them know about the late start time tomorrow and the rest of the week. And then if other schools are impacted, we will send a call into every home as well as post it out to our Twitter and Facebook page for the district.
Are you going to try and do that earlier than today?
Yeah, well, we're going to try. Our goal is to get it out by 6 o'clock in the morning because when we, like I said, when we were monitoring, and the reason we're monitoring River Ridge Middle and High is because the proximity that it is to the fire. They're really the only school that's, I think, within that half-mile point of origin of that fire. And so when staff arrived, after we looked at the school this weekend and we saw nothing going on with it, we were still monitoring it. And then when the administrators got there this morning and couldn't see the school, we knew that we were going to have some issues. So at that point, we, within a half an hour, made the decision and started notifying parents and making decisions.
That was around 8 a.m.
It was 7:10 this morning.
Okay.
It was 7:10. We got the word at 6:40, and the decision was made by 7:10 this morning. Because kids start arriving at school, and those kids that are driven to school, we just kept them in their cars. We said parents take them home. Buses that came in, we unloaded them because we had to get those buses around for Tier 2 and Tier 3, and then we started loading those kids back up on buses and getting them home. I think everybody was out of the school by 11:30 sometime today, including faculty and staff.
So that call went out to parents a little after 7:30. I thought it was 8:30.
Yeah, the call may have gone out at 8:30, but we made the decision by 7:10.
Cypress Creek was 8:38.
Cypress Elementary
Cypress Elementary, yeah.
was 8:38. Yes, Cypress Elementary was 8:38. Yep.
Are there going to be any issues with makeup days with it being the end of the school year?
That's what we're trying to avoid is makeup days. At this point, we are within the number of minutes and hours that we need statutorily. That's the reason I made the decision to look at an extended school or a shifted school day, so we get our hours in, instructional time for our students. But if we take another day off, we're going to be pushing the envelope on meeting the required hours or minutes that we need. And if that's the case, then it may lead us to have to extend school days the rest of the year in order to make that time up.
What message do you have to parents about being proactive and knowing at like the crack of dawn or whenever they can to help know this instead of finding out that they brought their child to a school?
We will just be patient. Number one, be patient with us because, like I said, this is not like a tropical storm or a hurricane. We have days to prepare. This is like literally could be an hour, and we find out that we have smoke moving in on a campus. As soon as we get that information or that about the conditions, we will send a call out to parents. Our hope is that if we have any plans on closing schools tomorrow, those calls hopefully will go out no later than 6 tomorrow morning. That's our plan. I'm sorry. Meal shift. Everything will shift with the start time. They will eat, but they'll have breakfast maybe where they had lunch, and then they'll have lunch later in the day. But we will feed those students.
Did you have anybody this morning, whether it be students, staff, or faculty, who had any kind of respiratory issues as a result of the smoke?
We had a report of one respiratory situation. We're still trying to work that out and find out what the facts are on that. I had heard that there was probably an asthma attack of some sort on a school bus, but there were no ambulances called to campus to deal with any illnesses whatsoever that we're aware of.
What is the end time?
The end time is about 5:10 for River Ridge Middle and River Ridge High. River Ridge Middle and River Ridge High, 5:10.
Is it not a safe situation to have the kids go to school, keep the doors closed, keep the windows closed, and run that AC with those filters so that the air would be good for them in the school?
We have a very high level of confidence that the air quality in our schools is fine. We're actually replacing filters this evening after they've run all day with no students there and the building closed up. And we feel pretty confident that the air quality will be more than adequate tomorrow when kids come to school.
But it would be too hard to control that if the kids were in school during the day and just kept inside rather than opening the doors to go out.
That was part of the problem, is not only were we sucking in smoke into the building with a fresh air return for about 10 minutes before we shut that down, we had students that were coming in and teachers coming in and out of classrooms, and every time you open those doors, it sucked that smoke into those classrooms. I have maintenance staff there at River Ridge Middle High, that's really one complex, looking at classrooms, offices, gyms, cafeterias. There's no smoke in the building, but there is a faint odor of smoke in the facility. But we believe that if we, since we've closed off the fresh air returns, replace the filters and run the AC all night, that we will be in good shape for tomorrow.
Can't run school under those conditions and keep the smoke
Not easily, not with as many kids as that campus has, and kids moving up and down. And not only that, but just the amount of smoke that was in the hallways this morning, it was pretty tough to see the school itself. It was tough. I've seen pictures of it, and it was bad.
Chief, can I ask you for an update on the status of the size of the fire? How much of it is contained?
Yeah, we just our latest update. It's still at 2,275 acres, and as of this press conference now, it's at 75% contained.
How are your firefighters doing? This is day after day after day moving from one fire to another. You obviously had a great outpouring of support from the community.
Yes.
With their donations this weekend, but your staff has been.
Yeah, our guys work 24/48s. So the good thing about that is that they go home at 8 o'clock in the morning. Some of them we have held over, but every day is a new, fresh 200 guys coming in to work. So we have 175 guys that we can abuse for that day, I guess, if you want to say it that way. It's probably not the best way to say it, but every day we have fresh guys coming on that have had 2 days off for the most part. So, however, those guys are coming into work knowing that it's our conditions are dry, the situation's not good for wildfires, and we've had 2 already today, 2 new ones, small, but still we've had 2 already. So it's it's every day. It's it's that constant message of no burning, making sure you're not throwing cigarette butts out the window. At our morning staff meeting this morning, our fire chief was at a traffic light yesterday, and someone rolled the window down and flicked the butt right out in the median. So I know that sounds simple. That sounds simple and stupid, but that will start a fire. In fact, one of the fires that we had today was in a median on State Road 52. There's nothing out there to cause a fire other than an errant cigarette.
Cumulatively, since this has been going on so long, is fatigue a problem?
Well, we're very thorough. We check our guys out at these scenes. We have rescue units, our paramedic units are there. They're taking blood pressures. They're doing EKGs. We're doing all that stuff to our guys out there on that scene, and we're making sure that they're being hydrated. They're being fed. They're taking precautions to take care of themselves, because that's our most important thing, is making sure that they're taking care of themselves and that they're there to help. So we want they're doing a good job of maintaining.
So one small fire in a median today. What was the other one?
The other one was a 2-acre fire. We don't know. I don't have. So yeah, that's 75% contained too. It was a small 2-acre fire. Luckily, we had crews in the area. Obviously, it was on the backside of Moon Lake, which is on the backside of Starkey Park. So we had crews there quickly, and Florida Forest Service had several tractors there very fast, so we were able to contain it to 2 acres.
Are you continuing to find instances of people burning illegally now
Oh,
that
yeah.
the burn ban has been?
Oh yeah, it's every day. Our engine companies are going out to people and saying, "Oh, I didn't know there was a burn ban in effect, and I was just burning my household garbage, or I was burning the leaves in the yard." And it's a lot of Pasco County is urban, but there's a giant section of Pasco County that's still very rural, and that's how they get rid of a lot of their yard debris and household debris. They burn it, and they're still doing it. So it's every day we're going out and asking these people to one, put the fire out, and then we're educating them and telling them there is a burn ban in effect. Here are the rules to burn. There are none, so just don't do it. So, but we are still going out and doing that. Now, we keep track of those. And if we have to continuously go out and keep telling the same people over and over again, we've already been out here once and warned you. Now, our partners with the Sheriff's Office will come out and they will fine them under county ordinance.
Have any fines been issued?
Yes. We've issued, as of last week, I don't have the current, I don't know what we issued over the weekend, but we had 5 citations issued for the month of May. I don't have the numbers for the weekend.
How much are we talking about?
We've had fines as low as $500, and we had one fine for a little over $14,700 last week. Now, once we fine you, we can tack on the response for our service. The water, the fire trucks, the manpower, and all that. And that was that fire where that big fine was at was a reimbursement fine.
Chief, was that the fall?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Do we have total acreage for the amount of for all the fires this year in Pasco?
I don't have it for this year in Pasco. Judith? For Pasco County alone? No. Yeah. Yeah, we have 10. I can get it for after the press conference, but we do have 10 open, 10 active fires in the county that we've been monitoring. And I can give you the state's numbers here. Maybe.
I'm the only one who needs to be here.
Okay.
Chief,
The state has had, the state currently, as of today, has 125 active fires for 31,154 acres. And year to date, since January 1st, they've had 1,944 fires for a total of 94,960 acres. So the state's dry, and it's not just our area; it's all across the state that's burning.
Over on Tinley Road, was that part of the controlled burn from?
No, that was a new breakout today.
Oh, okay. Did that come from the?
No, it's completely brand. Yeah, just close proximity. It's a totally unrelated incident.
Chief, do we have an ignition?
No, all those fires are still under investigation at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Right. Linda?
Thank you, folks.
Clarify, they did call an ambulance.
Oh, yeah. One point is that we did call an ambulance, I was told. We did call an ambulance for the asthma attack. Yes. We did not transport, but we did call the ambulance. Thank you.